Good morning and welcome to Everyday Money Matters on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. My name is Adu and it's a beautiful Wednesday, the 12th of May. And it's great to have you tuned in at this point in time. This is Everyday Money Matters, brought to you in partnership with our friends at Nairametrics, Nigeria's leading hub for financial news, financial economic news as well, information, business and things in that nature. Of course, you get breaking news analysis as well as coverage of the markets, both the capital and money markets, personal finance tips, financial literacy, lots of things to glean from when you go to nairametrics.com. And it's in partnership with them that we're bringing you Nairametrics, that is Everyday Money Matters. So welcome to the show. And of course, as always, I'm not alone. I'm joined by the money team. And today, Olumide is the one who is heralding the show with me. Hello, Olumide. How are you doing today?
Hello, Adu. Happy holiday. Morning.
You are at home. I am in the studio. So I'm not in. You're the one who's having a holiday. I'm not having a holiday today, but it's good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm also working, around the clock.
Well, you're working from home, eh? I wish I could work from home too. Okay. As always, you can ask your questions on this show. We are very interactive and would love to hear from you. So just send in your questions to us at our WhatsApp line, on our WhatsApp line, 0809-234-5913. Okay, so you can use that to reach out, interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you are on the live audience as well, you can drop your question on the chat box. We'll definitely get to them. But there's some questions that have been sent in prior to the show starting. So we're just going to go straight and begin to answer those ones while the new questions begin to roll in. So Olumide, let's start here. This one is just in your area of, shall I say, interest. It's about cryptocurrency. And this person is asking, says, good day, please. I want to start cryptocurrency investment. Please, can you help with any guidelines?
Yeah, good question. Simple guidelines are the same with other financial assets, stocks, bonds, whatever. But I think one of the key tools looking at the crypto market is now we're in a bullish run, meaning that many of these assets are kind of trading in their premium. But the first thing you need to look at when you're picking a crypto asset is the team, the liquidity, the market size, the risk, the down underlying risk, and I'm talking of in terms of the volatility and the fact that, like I said earlier, it's trading in a premium. So basically, you have a financial advisor already advising you that you shouldn't invest more than you can afford to lose. And you should also understand the fact that these assets, most of them don't have intrinsic value, meaning that they can go worthless. So if you are someone that follow the Nairametrics articles over time, you see that most of the time we advise people not to put more than 20% of their total earnings on these volatile assets. And that is a good one. Then you see other crypto exchanges, you pick good ones. There are so many good ones on board. Look at the ones that have clear functionality, a clear team. You can stick with the Americans, the British, or even the Nigerians, whichever suits you. Then you want to get the Bitcoin, you have to go through P2P, peer-to-peer. The central bank has banned banks from dealing with. So all those are the parabolics that you need to do going to the crypto market.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing that. There's another question here, still in the crypto space. It says Ethereum. Is it Ethereum or Ethereum now? Is trading at $4,300. Is it a good time to buy Ether?
Like I said, it's trading at a premium because it already has its record high. But a lot of people need to understand what's the rationale of making Ethereum go so high. The fact is that we call it the utility crypto asset because it has so many functions. It's the backbone of decentralized finance, meaning that most of these banking apps, you see banking functions, you see interest rates, insurance products, yield farming. It's done on decentralized finance. So Ethereum powers all these things. Then most of the crypto assets you see thrive on the Ethereum network. We call it ERC20. So investors have seen the fact that though Bitcoin has a finite supply, meaning that Bitcoin has a specific amount that will be produced, but Ethereum has more functionality. So what we're seeing that institutional inflows are increasing day by day. But you see, the tricky thing about knowing when right to buy is the personality and the willingness to afford risk. For me, I won't buy at this price because last year I got it around $200. So you can imagine the percentage gain you are on now. So would I get that kind of percentage again trading at 4,000? I doubt, because people need to understand that regulation is coming to this market, and the fact that inflation is already getting high. At one point, market liquidity will be tightened. So people need to understand that the value, that though it has a good value, but the premium, the price is trading is something that very tricky. So, but if you can afford to take that risk and trade on that premium, well, it's good for you. But for me, I think it's quite expensive right now.
All right. Thank you for the thoughts there. Olumide, let's take some more questions now. This one is asking, hello money team, please, what are ICOs?
Okay, simple question. ICOs in the crypto market, the same thing like what you call in the stock market. IPO, ICOs are the same. So IPO is initial public offer. That's what occurs before a stock goes to the stock exchange. So ICOs also is what we call initial coin offering. Is what we see occurring when a coin is about to go public. So this is how it works. A team creates a project, they talk to investors, they get some form of regulation if needed, they test their work. So they do what we call pre-ICO sales. That's for the first early investors. They give them at a discount. So for example, they could offer them 10 cents per token. Then they do the ICO, the initial coin offering. That's to limited amount of people, not in the public, limited. So they give them also at a discount, a bit higher than what they give their investors. And after that successful debut, they go public. So it's the stage a crypto token goes before hitting the public, major public audience or on the crypto exchange, because at that point, ICOs mostly are not traded on the exchange. So you have to buy them indirectly through other ventures or other platforms. But the catch about ICOs is that because of the fact that they are not on the exchange yet, you need to do due diligence. You need to look at the team. You need to do a lot of research and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, well said there. Thanks a lot for sharing that perspective. There's a person asking a question here. Says, I just got a job paying me $2,000 remotely from a foreign company. I currently live in Nigeria and plan to relocate soon. Do you think I should still process that, being that $2,000 is a lot higher in Nigeria than in Canada?
Yeah, very tricky question, but this is the intrigue behind all these things. First of all, $2,000, yeah, it seems like a lot of money in Nigeria. That's about $1 million a month, But the good thing about remote jobs is that you don't really need to be physically present. And with the era of COVID-19 and disruption going on and on, the jobs of this kind of jobs have gone in record spaces. If you look at the fintech and the crypto market itself, most of the jobs are done remotely. So first of all, I think apart from the security risk in Nigeria, staying in Nigeria seems to be ideal. But some people are saying that we should have a plan B and plan C. But I think that if you are considering a emerging market, you have to take a lot of factors in consideration. You're most likely going to be taxed. That's not really if you're in the United States, for example, that kind of amount would not suit your bill like the way you are in Nigeria. So the opportunity cost varies from each zone to each zone. So I think you need to outweigh, are you really considering economic gain? If it's economic gain, stay in Nigeria is the most ideal, because just putting half of that amount into other investments and you're already in the middle class. But if you're earning that kind of amount of money in the United States, you're not even got into the out of the lower class spectrum, because the cost of living there is so expensive. You have to consider your house rent, the bills, and insurance, and so many other things. And the market there is very saturated. So it's weighing security. But if you're considering security, maybe it's ideal. But I think economically, it's better you stay where you are.
Well said there, Olumide, considering that people who have to live abroad pay their rent monthly, and you might even have to spend 1,000 naira on $1,000, beg your pardon, on your rent, depending on what state you live. Anyway, there's another question here from one of our attendees. It says, Olumide, what about Ethereum's potential halving? The price actions is almost identical to what happened to Bitcoin one cycle ago. The network effect of cryptocurrencies as well still makes ETH an asset that will gain in value. This is from...
That question seems confusing because of what he used and that statement happened. But I think you need to understand that, like I said earlier, Bitcoin's advantage is that the fact that it has a finite supply. Ethereum, every 30 seconds to a minute, 2 Ethereum is being mined. Ethereum doesn't have a finite supply. You understand? But I think Ethereum is moving from the fact that they're moving away from that upgrade to a better upgrade, meaning that the present technology, because a lot of people complain about the cost moving Ethereum gas fees. It's kind of very expensive. And in fact, if you look at so many coins now, there are so many Doge wannabes coming out on a weekly basis. And that's why I said the crypto market might not be sustainable with the amount of coins trickling out on a weekly and monthly basis. So I think the future for Ethereum is the technology they adapt in the long run. But that's not to say that that's lost its credence in the decentralized world, because, like I said, a lot of banks, whether you use Ethereum than use Binance Smart Chain or use Solana, because you see, Ethereum doesn't have any entity governing it. And that's one of the things the Security Exchange Commission give credence to, that Ethereum, Bitcoin are not security assets. So it's very likely these assets go through whatever regulation, but that can't be said about others. So I think the upside for Ethereum is the fact that it's a pioneer utility crypto asset. It has strong functionality. It has high developer presence. So I don't see that risk. But yes, it has a lot of problems with the fact that of gas fees and a lot of things happening in the ecosystem. But that's because there's so much activities going on. But I think the developers are working towards solving that problem.
Okay, let's get into some more questions here. And by the way, in case you're just joining us, you're listening to Everyday Money Matters, brought to you in partnership with Nairametrics. Just to remind you that this show is always on YouTube. Okay, so after every episode, just go to YouTube and you can watch the show over and over it again, just to be able to get the questions, listen to the answers and get the questions and get some understanding into some of these money matters. So just go to youtube.com and search for Nairametrics. That's Naira and Metrics written together, and you can watch the video over and over again. Also, perhaps you feel that the time we have is not enough to get a little bit more insight into particularly the stock market. That's a concept that is available, or a product is available from Nairametrics, which is called a Stock Select newsletter. So Nairametrics offers that, and it helps you become a smarter investor, discover market-beating stocks. You learn to invest with confidence, and you get insight into the factors that drive capital appreciation. And so this will also help you to get some recommendations of stock, at least two, monthly, so you know which one to buy, which one to sell, which one to hold. You get exclusive market intelligence on stocks and the market in general. And you have also succinctly written analysis of various companies, their results, and even the corporate actions they take and how it will affect your stock in the long run. So generally, it will help you with the stock market and how to become a smart investor, because being able to navigate the stock market, sometimes you need a little bit of insight to help you be the best and get the best from it. So if you want to subscribe to that and you want to get a little bit more, just go to ssn.nairametrics.com. That's ssn.nairametrics.com, and you will be able to get access to that Stock Select newsletter. Letter. Olumide, there are more questions pouring in here. Let me just get into them. And sorry, my question ran away. Okay, this one is asking, it says, hello, money team. Please, what are smart contracts?
Smart contracts, that's the crypto market. These are kind of contracts that you automated. It's a command process which you give on the Ethereum network, basically. So, for example, you could set automations like the amount of parameters you want in that cell. So basically, it's just an automated contract that is usually done on the Ethereum network, and that's what gives credence to Ethereum.
All right, then. Another question here that's coming in here. It says, hello, please, I have a question concerning capital gains. Okay. Capital gains tax. My question is, when a landed property is sold from a vendor to the purchaser, who amongst them is to pay for capital gains tax?
Yeah, it's the seller, not the seller. So in Nigeria, I think that's 10%. In United States, it's more trickier than that. It means that if that asset was held, that asset must be held for more than a year for it to accrue capital gain. And I think in the United States, once you increase that to 40%. So yeah, that's basically the person that is earning the gains that is going to be taxed. Simple. Yeah.
All right. The question here, will the CBN raise interest rates anytime soon?
Yeah, very good question. And that's what a lot of us are looking at now, because market liquidity is becoming so loose around the world, from Nigeria to United States to Europe. And that's really what's happening in the crypto market, the stock market. We're in a bubble, Adu, and the sad thing is that people have gotten addicted to this bubble. And what happens in bubbles that they get burst, and when they burst, they create shocks. After shocks, earthquake, things start going up and down, and you see people start losing market confidence, and you now see what we call a recession. But I think it's fair to say that in Nigeria, the Apex Bank has done, on the monetary level, they've done super well. In fact, because if you look at the fact that the GDP of Africa's largest economy has not suffered so much compared to its peers, I'm talking of the South Africans and Egyptians, then you would give credence to what the Apex Bank has done. But they are suffering from the fact that we have inflation rate is already moving close to 20%, and that is incredibly high. And the middle class is suffering from this a lot. A lot of people have fixed income, so their purchasing power has reduced drastically. And the fact that even in the bond market too, foreign investors are not so in line to investing most of our debt market, because the inflation and the foreign exchange controls are so hard. So I think that at one point liquidity will start will be tightened. But the tricky question is, you can't tighten liquidity when the economy is just breathing. So I think it will happen maybe later in the year when the Apex Bank will start, because if you look at last week's statement, they kept it fixed, it was fixed. So it tells you that they are moving towards the hawkish move, and that means that at one point the market will get tightened. In the foreign market, yes, we don't see it anytime in the next 2 years, but the body language is already telling the central bank over there to that market liquidity has to tighten. Inflation is going high, so it's not just a localized problem. So the monetary problem we're having is internationalized because of what COVID-19 did to our market. So people need to be aware that market liquidity will come, tightening of market liquidity will come sooner than they expect. So they should get prepared and stop living a very loose monetary investment life. Thank you.
Thank you, Olumide. Another person asking here says, please could Olumide kindly explain what determines the ranking of coins? This is from a man called Larry. The ranking of coins, what determines it?
Okay, yes. If you look at the coin market cap or you look at CoinGecko, these are crypto analytic ranking firms. The first thing they use is they look at the market value. So for example, Bitcoin has the highest market value, so it's ranked number one. Just like we do on the Nigerian stock market, the most valued stocks are usually the NSE 30 stocks. So in the crypto market, the first 10 are the most valuable. So we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum. The third and fourth position in recent times, they usually switch. Usually goes Binance, Tether, XRP. Then Dogecoin too has also emerged in top 5. So it basically is just the market value. And how do you calculate the market value? The price, the total coin in supply. Simple. So for example, we have 18.5 million Bitcoin. Bitcoin is moving at $5,000. So you just multiply the price with the amount in supply, and you get the market value. So that is how they are ranked. So investors use the market value as a point to judge liquidity, because the higher the market value, the more liquidity drives around that asset, because you see a lot of investors in it. It means that the liquidity is higher because, for example, Bitcoin, we have a lot of investors in Bitcoin, in Ethereum. You can't compare Bitcoin with an asset that is ranked as 600 or 1,000, So the market value usually increases with liquidity. So basically, that's what it's about.
All right. Let's questions here before we call it a day. Why are Nigerian stocks doing so badly, Olumide? Last year was a lot better. Really?
Yeah. As you see, one of the most painful things about success is success itself. People forget that because Nigerian stocks were the best performing in the world, you can't expect that to happen all the time. That's not fair. And the thing you need to look at is that, you might think Nigerian stocks are underperforming when you compare them to other, but they've printed credible gains in recent times. So this is the catch, because now some stocks are not doing so well. In fact, many stocks are not doing so well, but we have some decent stocks doing record. So that's why we usually advise our readers, listeners to subscribe to the Metrics newsletter, where you get insights on stocks that in that periodicity. So I'll give you an example. There are stocks that have given returns of 150% in the last quarter. And there are stocks, the NSE 30 stocks that have given gains of 60%. So that doesn't trickle on the broader macro system, because when you are weighing the performance of the Nigerian stock market, you consider all the stocks. So sometimes this doesn't trickle out. So I advise you that this is a time not to ignore Nigerian stocks. We have some very good undervalued stocks. And the time of the year also tells you that usually Nigerian stocks don't really perform at this time. If you look at the cycle, the Q1 and Q2 usually has where Nigerian stocks starts picking up. But Q3, Q4, especially Q4, is where the performance usually comes out. So these are times for you to talk to your certified stockbroker or investment advisor in any regulated investment bank. Try and build your position. As long as you spend naira, as long as you live in Nigeria, you need Nigerian stocks. You also need Nigerian stocks. So you need to get exposed to Nigerian stocks. And there are so many good stocks out there. Our recent earning result has showed that some of these assets are doing incredibly well, and they're still undervalued. So it's going to be very costly if you value them. Thank you.
Okay. Let's take one last question before we call it a day, Olumide. Okay. This one is about Euro bonds.
Yeah.
Says, can I invest in a Euro bond for $1,000?
Yeah, good question. Directly, no. When I said directly, when I said no directly, because you look at the latest issue of bonds, the minimum part was 50,000. So this
Mhm.
is what you do. You go to a regulated investment bank that is issuing this asset. They can pull your funds, so you be like a macro investor. So yeah, basically, indirect it means that indirectly or through your investment bank, you can still invest that. But you won't have a direct slot. You know, like I told you, like a slot is about $50,000. So what the investment bank does is that it gathers other macro investors to make a slot. So definitely you need to go through your investment bank, and if you really want to know the good ones to go to the Security Exchange Commission website. You see a list, or if you see that's complicated, just Google Nairametrics list of investment banks. We usually have to publish their performance and their market liquidity. You can pick any of them, and you see such offering. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Olumide, for always being there to, shall I say, dissect the questions and give
Thank
good perspective to it all. I do hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday today.
Yeah, thanks. I'll the same here. I hope you to keep it
Yeah, I
safe.
mean,
Yeah.
maybe you could send me some chicken, probably.
Yeah, I'm not a Muslim, but I'll try. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in case you just listen to the show and you want to watch it or listen to it over and over again, remember to go to YouTube at YouTube and then look for Nairametrics on YouTube, and you get to watch the show again. You get to see and hear and have those questions answered, so you can use them as a guide for your day-to-day money making decisions. And of course, do not forget the Stock Select newsletter, ssn.nairametrics.com. Olumide, until next week. Enjoy your day. Bye.